Laura, you are on with Bree and Richard, and sounds like you have objects moving around your house. Is that right?
Yeah, once in a while something will get thrown, but mainly like things will pick up and just be put down, or things will just fall on the floor by themselves, and little stuff like that. That's been going on for a lot of years.
So are you visibly witnessing this, or are you like hearing it from the other room and come like you hear something fall and you come in there and you like your purse is laying on the floor and it was on the chair previously, things like that?
I've actually witnessed it, like
You saw it.
A solid drop or a solid witness or picking up or something like that.
So you saw it levitate off of the surface and then fall back down?
Yeah.
Well, levitate and float around and then fall down. Does it just straight up and then drop?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Just straight up and just drop.
What kind of objects? Like pencils, glasses, cups?
Well, a lot of times my phone.
Your phone?
My phone will. My phone.
It's an iPhone or an Android?
It excuse me?
Is it an iPhone or an Android?
Yeah, Android.
Android, okay. For our tech friends here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times my phone.
Okay, so
it's just random stuff that
is it just something that you see, or are there other individuals witnessing this as well?
There's others that witness it too, and a lot of times I'll feel like someone's like trying to knock outgoing, or like trying to do sentences through knocking through electronics. And there's a lot of people that have actually witnessed that too, especially through like refrigerator. They'll just start knocking, and it seems like somebody's trying to tell me something in a sentence.
On the refrigerator?
Yeah, in the refrigerator will do that. And
is it rhythmic, or is it just does it seem random, or does it seem rhythmic? Is it like Morse code, do you think?
Yeah, kind of like Morse code.
Does the refrigerator have an ice maker?
No.
Does it have a water dispenser? Like a thing where you put the glass in and it puts water out?
Oh, no.
No? Okay. Trying to get an idea what kind of refrigerator we're talking about. So no ice maker. It does have a built-in freezer though.
No.
It does not have a freezer. It's just a refrigerator. Okay.
Yeah. Laura, without giving me your actual address, which we don't need to know, which area do you live in? Which state do you live in?
Ohio. I live in a little town called Worcester.
Do you have a kind of, I mean, obviously I'm not American, so I know nothing about American geography. Do you have earthquakes and things of that nature there?
Not really.
Okay.
Once in, like,
I noticed Bree shaking her head then.
Well, the New Madrid Fault,
stupid Englishman.
No, the New Madrid Fault is like just west of the Mississippi. That's the closest fault line to where she is. So they could feel that the New Madrid Fault vibrated, but I don't know. I think it would be anything significant. Just my opinion. But there are a few things with the refrigerator that are kind of interesting because do you have a separate freezer that's someplace else then? Where do you put your frozen stuff at? Like a deep freeze?
Oh, there is a freezer in the refrigerator. Sorry.
There's a freezer inside of it. Okay. And there's no ice maker though in the freezer.
No.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so we're out. Now I'm caught up with you because I was just planning to picture a refrigerator with no freezer attached to it, and it was just But thank you for clarifying. All right. So we have noises and we have stuff floating. The stuff floating is really interesting. I do want to circle back to that because we do get kind of that report often, I guess, but it's usually just one person seeing something and they see it float up and then go back down and it lands back in this pretty much the same spot it is. But you're talking about stuff moving different areas, like your phone floating across the room. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, the phone usually just drops on the floor. They usually just like drop it on the floor.
Okay.
The phone.
Is it?
And there's just like random stuff through the house that kind of drops on the floor.
Laura, I'm trying to understand the kind of exactly what's happening with your phone. Is it being physically kind of picked up? Like, so let's say my hands are I don't know if you can see me. That may not work. Is it like floating up in the air and moving and then dropping, or is it like on the edge of a table and like just coming straight off it as though it's being pushed?
Yeah, it's like just going straight up in the air and then coming right back down.
Right, that's very interesting.
Yeah. And multiple witnesses at the same time sounds very interesting and very compelling. Have you had anybody investigate in any of these sightings? Any like paranormal investigator teams come in to look at the situation?
Yeah, I had a team come to my house. I lived in a little small town called Shreve, and I had a team come to my house to kind of investigate stuff. But they never really did an overnight there or anything like that. They got really busy and they couldn't make it. But
has anybody filmed any of? Sorry, Laura. Has anybody filmed any of this activity going
on? I have in the past.
You have?
Caught some stuff.
Oh.
So I lived in Shreve. The lantern. I lived in like a bi-level house, and there was like a chandelier by the entryway when you walk in, and it would move by itself.
Do you still have any of that footage, and would you mind sending it to Ethan?
I can try.
We love footage.
A long time ago, and I'll have to really look for it.
So, like when it comes to evidence of anything, really, like anecdotal evidence, which is what we kind of go for on this show. I'm not going to lie. That's for the most part, we are the only thing you need to be able to call us and have us kind of look at your story is anecdotal evidence, your personal experience. But if you can add any kind of veracity to that, if you can show us anything physical, photos, audio recordings, videos, anything like that, that really goes a long way to help us understand your situation and you understand the supernatural elements that are being claimed there. You believe it's supernatural is what I'm understanding, right?
Yeah.
You think it's like a spirit of a person, somebody that died in the home, maybe?
Yeah, I've had a lot of people that have died in my life too.
You think it's somebody? Oh, go ahead, Richard. I'm sorry.
I would just, you've mentioned a couple of times when you lived in a certain place, past tense. Have you had activity move with you? Or is it just been located in one kind of address, one premises?
It usually happens a lot wherever I'm at.
Okay.
Because I've moved I've moved a couple times now, and
it follows you.
It's still going on. So whatever it is.
How long has this been following you?
I'd say a good 10 years at least.
10 years? Were you an adult when it started following you, or were you still underage, or?
I'd say whenever I moved in that house in Shreve, that's probably when most of it started. I mean, my first encounter, I was around 8 years old
Mm-hmm.
with my first encounter.
Okay. Of something floating like that, or the knocking noises. What was this first encounter like?
Yeah, well, my first encounter, I was around 8, and I was at a Girl Scout meeting, and I mean, this place was already haunted anyway, and they had a bunch of dolls upstairs and sitting on shelves, and I was just looking at them. I liked the dolls and everything. And then just all of a sudden, all their eyes glowed different colors.
The doll's eyes changed colors. Oh my goodness! I just recently did a thing about haunted dolls. So I've been studying them a bit. The idea of haunted dolls. So their eyes change color. Do they all change the same color? Just every doll's eyes change a different color?
Yeah, they were all different colors.
Oh.
Like red, pink, blue, yellow.
Okay,
all kinds of different colors all at once.
Something that be. So you're little, right? You're a child, 8 years old, I think you said. You walk. I'm just trying to go through the scenario in my head. You walk into the room. You open the door and step into the room. There's a shelf full of dolls. Were there windows in the room?
Yeah, I think there was one window.
Okay, so you walk into the room. There's a shelf. The whole wall's dolls. Is what I'm understanding. Like the whole.
Right.
Okay, and then we step in there, and there's a shelf full of dolls, and you're looking up at the dolls, and their eyes all change color, just like twinkling eyes. Are they lit? Are they? Just want to kind of get an understanding of how this happened.
They were like glowing, bright colors.
Bright colors.
Like really bright colors.
Interesting. Was it daytime when this happened? Was it light outside?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you flip switch when you came into the room, or was it you just walked in and didn't change the lighting at all? Okay. And the doll's eyes all change color. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that was when I was around 8.
And you were 8 years old. Did anybody else witness this, or was it just something that you've witnessed?
It was just something I witnessed.
Okay. All right. Did you tell that to the person who owned the dolls? Did you tell them what happened, or did you keep it to yourself?
I think I just kept it to myself.
I understand.
I think you did incredibly well. I think if I was 8 years old and witnessed some dolls with eyes changing color, I'd have been out of there kind of faster than Usain Bolt.
Yeah, that'd be pretty spooky, huh? So then you had that experience, and then years later you moved into one location and you started having experiences with the stuff levitating and the knocking sounds. And the knocking sounds are multiple locations too. Is this always around the refrigerator, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's any electronic.
Any electronic.
Have you had your electrics tested in the house?
It's mainly the refrigerator, but they'll do it with any electronic too. So
have you had an electrician come in and test the electrics in your house to make sure there were no faults?
Oh no, I never thought of that.
Maybe that's a good step to take to just eliminate that possibility and for safety. Yes.
But your refrigerator has a compressor in it, which they can be a little bit noisy. But you're saying it's other electronic devices too. So that's when we say like devices, are we talking like televisions and stereos and things like that?
Yeah.
Or other appliances that are around the house, like washer and dryer and things like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain. like,
What?
you know, like
Which
TV,
devices exactly?
radio.
Okay, that was my next question.
I
Which
can do
devices?
washer. Never really did through a washer dryer or anything like that.
Okay. But radio, yes. Okay. The refrigerator, again, that's I see a compressor in there. A lot of factors are going to come into play when you got a big electronical device inside of a machine like that. But it extending over to things like a radio, where there's definitely no compressor there. There's no heavy machinery at all. So these radios, and we have to take these in case by case, and I hate to feel like I'm nitpicking your every claim, but like about the radio, about the refrigerator, but the details about them really help us to understand and kind of wrap our heads around your experiences. So was the radio like a alarm clock radio? Was it a big cabinet stereo?
Yeah, kind of like a cabinet stereo. I would say.
Big cabinet stereo. Okay.
Do you know if you're like in general in the area surrounding you, if there are kind of any power surges, or does the electricity go out very often, that kind of thing?
It does at the last two places I've been, but not in the one in Tree where it first started.
Right. Okay.
Well, when we get into and I don't know how much you know about the electricity in these properties, so it's kind of there's a line there. I would like to ask, and maybe you have the answer, maybe you don't. The refrigerator, the stereo, these different electronic appliances, are they on the same circuit in the house? Usually refrigerators will have a dedicated circuit, like they're on their own circuit, because the compressor, again, freezers, the same thing. Dryers all have their own dedicated circuit, but a lot of people don't follow the regulations and will have other things plugged in that circuit. Not saying it's something you're choosing to do. Maybe it was the landlord that did it. We don't know. But do you think that those were all on the same circuit, or do you not know what that means?
I know what that means, but I never really thought of that.
Okay. Just questions. Yeah. I wasn't trying to insult your intelligence in any way at all. Whether
it's all right. You're fine.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, was there, so
yeah.
We have, let's just recap what we've gone over so far. We had the knocking, the levitating stuff, and then your experience from your childhood with the dolls. Is that sum it up, all your experiences, or are there any pieces that we're missing here?
I got tons.
You got tons.
There was a point where I was going to try to do a cleansing, mm-hmm. and I ended up with scratches all over my body. I don't know if that was some kind of threat.
Ooh, that's interesting too.
Yeah, the levitating phones is really the one that's got me interested, because the other things, there are possible explanations for, and I'm not saying there's not a possible explanation for a levitating phone, but it's very much more out there than the kind of other experiences that you've had, and it seems to defy all like known physics, if you like. So that's one that's really interesting, and if you could at any point try and get some footage of that and send it in for us to actually view, and you can call back in again, that'd be amazing.
Like a cheap security camera, and not just for us. I mean, you could really do something good with releasing that footage just in general, saying here's proof of some supernatural occurrence that people can look at and give some veracity to the claims. Because right now you got skeptics like me who are like, and again, no offense to you, I don't believe that these things are supernatural in origin. I think that we do have to study each case individually, but I understand that you believe in supernatural occurrences and that other people do too. And I think that if you could capture footage of it, now you wouldn't just be swaying me, you'd be giving some veracity to these other folks out there who are also pushing the same message but aren't able to get that footage. So just some food for thought, coming back to us with something physical, because that's That's evidence. That's a next level of evidence.
I started getting involved in the. I started getting involved. Sorry, I started getting involved in the paranormal when I was about 2010, and nobody got me into it or anything. I just kind of got drawn to it, took an interest in it, and I wanted to kind of be there for people that experience things where, like, if they feel they can't speak up about it, or if they're afraid to. I kind of wanted to be there for that person. And I'd be somebody to talk to about it.
I was back in 2010
getting involved in the paranormal.
Back in 2010, I was still doing paranormal investigations too. I mean, I'm with you, sister. I was going into haunted houses with well, I had my crappy camera phone back then, my 2010 camera phone, which was not anything very impressive, but we would go into haunted locations and snoop around. So yeah, I'm with you. I was I just, over the years of looking into it, I kind of pulled back from it because the lack of anything physical, any evidence. But it sounds like you might be able to get evidence, which is a completely different page than what I was on. So I look forward to seeing some of the stuff that you put out.
I still love going into this kind of stuff. I went to see a psychic medium, or a proposed psychic medium, just last week with some friends of mine. I love going and investigating stuff like this, and it's fantastic. You don't have to be a hardcore believer to go and do this stuff. It's interesting. It can be interesting from whichever side. I'm very interested in the psychological side of it. And and the instance from last week where I went to see this, whether you want to call it psychic medium or clairvoyant, I was very interested in people's reaction and the kind of cold reading that she was doing and the feedback people were giving to her. So it's very interesting to whether you're a skeptic or a believer.
The psychology of it is fascinating. Yeah. Right. Well, we really do appreciate your call tonight, Laura. It's been a great layers and layers of different occurrences that you had. But it sounds like you might be able to give us more, and I'm hungry for more of that with the pictures and videos that we can scrutinize. So if you can give us something like that, we would appreciate it, Laura. But we always
most
appreciate
definitely.
it all regardless. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Laura.
I'll message you if I get whenever I can get those videos in. So,
all right.
I'll message you them.
Sweet.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. All right.
You're welcome. Yep. You're welcome.
Right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. We have a couple of things a couple of super chats here from some of our great friends in the friendly neighborhood out there, including Amit Matthew, not only a friend but also a co-host of The Perspective. So thank you so much, Amit. Perspective is back. Woohoo! I got Cookie. I'm so glad to see you back in the live chat. I got Cookie. You always make the live chat lively. My perspective has been off lately. Glad to have it back. We are glad to be back. And thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. We got the whole gang back, it looks like. So I'm stoked.